history tends to repeat itself, and I would say the history of in-game advertising is also tends to repeat itself. So with every new generation, it seems, of video games and video game services, we tend to see the industry try some of the same old stuff. And I'm not saying that is necessarily negative, it's just a natural behavior. So a good example of the history of video game advertising would be two areas: advergaming and in-game billboards. My original company, Wild Tangent, we sort of invented in the early 2000s the idea of advergaming and built some pretty big games for the biggest brands like Coke and Pepsi and McDonald's and Axe and others, Nike. And that was wonderful, and it's exciting to build games for brands. But at the end of the day, what you find out is you could build a really nice game, but you still have to figure out how to get players into that game. And that's where it becomes a really difficult medium to be successful in. To build a game or build a game experience as a brand is one thing, to generate enough consumer traffic to it, and then to keep it up as a live service experience is probably the biggest lesson in building games for brands. We're now seeing that landscape really explode on Roblox and on Fortnite's UEFN engine as well. But again, they're going to have the same problems, which is, a Nike experience on Roblox is not going to drive nearly the traffic, not even a fraction of the traffic that the most popular games like a Brookhaven will drive on the platform. So making games as a brand is probably ultimately a fool's errand, but can be exciting and great for press releases, but probably ultimately won't drive, the greatest end results. The second area that kind of where history is repeating itself a little bit is the notion of putting billboards in the background environment of video games. And we saw that idea kind of made it onto the console PC landscape in the, let's call it 2007 timeframe, with several companies that went after that space, and it's now revived again. I think with programmatic advertising, display advertising, it's much more of a reality today than it was 10 years or 15 years ago, but it still has the same challenges exist, which is it really good for the game to have billboards in it? Do the billboards synergize well with the gameplay experience? And can the right brands find their way into those billboards? And will the players even care or notice? That's the other thing. If you're driving down the freeway in your car, do you really remember the billboards that you saw along the freeway? Maybe occasionally you will. Maybe it's a really good fit. I think sports games would be a good example, or a city builder or simulation game where it's supposed to look and mirror real life, where you can put some background billboards dynamically served off an ad server, potentially programmatically sold. They can exist in those environments and not irritate the gamer, whether the gamer really pays attention to them or notices them versus anything else they're doing. Well, that's probably still the $1 million question that's not answered. So those are kind of a couple areas where history is repeating itself. And then I think, the recipe for success in terms of in-game advertising is pretty simple idea. It's the idea of value exchange. It's of giving players something of merit that they really want, that they otherwise are going to grind away for hours to get, or they're going to pull out a card and spend money to get. And so if a brand can add value to a player's experience and help create a shortcut to getting their hands on that boost or that power up or that item that they really quest and desire in a game, because most gameplay is about accomplishment. It's about building status. It's about finishing a goal or winning a contest. Things that can help you get there faster, look better, are really valuable to players. And with the notion of an ad that unlocks gameplay or unlocks items, brands can have a super valuable role in enhancing a player's experience. And that, to me, sounds really easy, but it's very complex when you get into the notion of the different platforms, how games are built, and how items are unlocked in games. But it's become a very popular part of the mobile gaming experience is a rewarded ad model where you watch a video and unlock items in a game. And PlayerWon, my company, has brought that to the PC and cloud and console gaming landscapes with quite a bit of success.